Okay, dear friends, good evening. How are you? Today we have to continue from the same topic we have left yesterday, and the topic study we have left, that is the Maurya period. So today we have to start from post Maurya period onwards, and here you know कि we are following the specific formula. The specific formula is you are moving from political, we are moving and we have to underline the elements of changes. हम लोग परिवर्तन के तत्वों को रेखांकित कर रहे हैं. We have entered into part second. In part second, for the sake of convenience, we have divided the whole topic into different subparts. For example, political, economic, social and cultural. Even the political part should be subdivided into or divided into two subparts: political expansion and administrative structure. The second one, the economic, that is agriculture, craft, trade, monetary system and urbanization. Then comes the turn of society, Varna and caste system, the condition of women, condition of Sudras, condition of untouchables, etc. So we have to start from there. Then we have to move further and we have to cover cultural part, that is a comprehensive part. In political history, economic history, social history, we have to deal with the questions, MCQ questions only, because these parts are important only for prelims. But whenever we have to deal with the cultural part, जब हम लोग संस्कृति वाले पार्ट में जाएंगे तो हम लोग मेंस और प्रीलिम्स दोनों के क्वेश्चन को साथ ही साथ डील करेंगे. तो फिर एक बार हम पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री थोड़ा सा लंबा है, सो वी हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर, बट आई हैव ब्रॉट 5 क्वेश्चंस नाउ. The 5 MCQ questions, 5 multiple choice questions, and you guys are smart enough, the intelligent enough to solve the question. So please respond to my questions. The first one, from the text Shatpat Brahmana, we come to know that Videh Madhava laid the foundation of his estate by the side of the river Sadanira. This river has been identified with which of the following river? मतलब आपको बताया जा रहा है कि एक रूलर थे विदेह माधवा, उनको क्रेडिट दिया जाता है कि उन्होंने सदानीरा रिवर के किनारे एक अपने स्टेट को इस्टेब्लिश किया. तो वही पूछा जा रहा है कि सदानीरा रिवर की पहचान हम किस रिवर से करें. तो यू आर हैविंग द चॉइसेस गंगा, गंडकाज यानी गंगेज, गंडका, सरयू and Varnavati. So these are the rivers, the names of the rivers, you know, and here you have to understand here. So please mention and try to find out the right choice. D. B. Yes. Gandaka. Yes. That is the correct answer. Question number 2. In which of the following regions ऋग्वैदिक सिविलाइजेशन डिडंट एक्सपैंड? मतलब इनमें से किस क्षेत्र में ऋग्वैदिक आर्यंस ने अपना विस्तार नहीं किया था? चॉइस ए कश्मीर, चॉइस बी हरियाणा, चॉइस ए गुजरात एंड चॉइस डी राजस्थान. ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द राइट चॉइस माय स्टूडेंट्स प्लीज. Choice number C, Gujarat. Correct answer. Question number 3. A ruler, Pravahan Javali, was associated with which of the following regions? Which of the following regions? A. Kuru, B. Panchala, C. Kosala and D. Kashi. So your answer is what? मतलब इसमें आपको एक रूलर के बारे में बताया जाए कि प्रवाहन जावाली किस रीजन से संबंधित थे. इस रूलर की चर्चा हमने की हुई, आपके स्टडी मटेरियल में भी होगा. यू हैव टू फाइंड इट आउट. Panchala. Yes, correct answer. Question number 4. Which of the following texts given us the information that Chandragupta Maurya, in association with his advisor Chanakya, conquered the region in northwest. कंकर्ड रीजन इन नॉर्थ वेस्ट, मतलब आपसे पूछा जा रहा है कि भाई नॉर्थ वेस्ट में हमें किसी एक टेक्स्ट से सूचना मिलती है कि चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य अपने जो टीचर एडवाइजर थे चाणक्य के साथ उस रीजन को कंकर किया था. दिस इंफॉर्मेशन हैज बीन सप्लाइड बाय व्हिच टेक्स्ट, एंड हियर यू आर हैविंग द चॉइसेस. चॉइस ए मुद्रा राक्षसा, बी अर्थशास्त्र, सी इंडिका एंड डी महाभाष्य. A. Yes, A is the correct answer. Question number 5. Which of the Mahajanpadas was where conquered and annexed by Ajazsatru? इनमें से कौन सा महाजनपदा है जो अजातशत्रु के द्वारा कंकर किया गया? पॉइंट 1 अंगा, पॉइंट 2 वज्जी कॉन्फेडरेसी, पॉइंट 3 कोशला एंड पॉइंट 4 अवंती. B for Bombay. Okay. 2 and 3. मतलब 2 and 3. Yes, that is the correct answer. Yes. My students, quite commendable. We have solved 5 out of 5 questions. So here you don't find any difficulty. But my friends, so far as you have to going to cover political history, administrative, you can say administration, economy, society. So up to this period, we have to deal with simply MCQ type of questions, because what you know as the long question or the mains type of question, so that I have to deal with the mains type of, I will just supply you the mains type of question इन कल्चरल पार्ट. जब मैं संस्कृति वाला भाग करवाऊंगा तो आपको मैं मेन एग्जाम से संबंधित भी क्वेश्चन दूंगा. अभी मैं सिर्फ आपको प्रीलिम्स एग्जाम से संबंधित क्वेश्चन दूंगा. वैसे पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री, इकोनॉमिक हिस्ट्री, सोशल हिस्ट्री अगर आपका क्लियर होगा तो उससे आपका कल्चरल हिस्ट्री भी ज्यादा क्लैरिटी आपको आएगी. बिकॉज कल्चर, आफ्टर ऑल, द कल्चर इज द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ इट्स टाइम एंड सिचुएशन, एंड इट इज द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल कंडीशंस. अब नाउ we have to move further. Yesterday I have left on this point. Yesterday in 16 Mahajanpada, then we have done with Maurya Empire. Ab here you know ki Maurya Empire you have already done, and then you have to move to post Maurya. Post Maurya. My students, in post Maurya, actually simply you are giving emphasis over the political history. So in the political history, if you have to deal with the post-Maurya period, so better to give emphasis over multi-state system. What the system? You can see post-Maurya period, you know, between 200 BC to 300 AD and 300 CE, better to 300 CE. So here you have to observe here the Maurya period. Sorry, post-Maurya period. So post-Maurya period is this, and that is here you find कि multi-state system. मतलब multi-state system बोलते हैं बहुराज्य व्यवस्था, मतलब एक से अधिक राज्य, multi-state system. Because during Maurya period you have just manifested or confronted an empire which was almost having a continental size and which expanded from Hindu Kush region in northwest to Brahmagiri in south and Bengal in east. So there you find the example of a very vast and very gigantic and very giant empire. But now in place of a giant empire you will find the multi-state system, and normally you can divide the state in 3 categories. 3 categories. In 3 categories, firstly, better to mention about the successor states. Successor states, or you can say better to rebel states. you can here use the term like successor states or the rival states. Of what is our successor states or rival states? So here you will find the Sunga state, and the second one Kanwa state. Second one Kanwa state. अब in Sunga state just come to know, in fact, after Ashoka, the invasions from northwest started and Mauryan Empire was weakened. Then the war of succession started, and as the war of succession later you will come to know, in fact the empire was divided between Tivra, and you can say the empire was divided between, you can say, Dashratha, his grandson, Ashok's grandson, another king, and between the another king, you know, Samprati and Dasratha, so two parts, you know. Then gradually you can say that the one was, the different centers were there already. In the meantime, the last Mauryan king was Birhadratha. So Birhadratha was the last Mauryan king, and he was ruling in nearly 185 BC. In 185 BC, Birhadratha was assassinated by his own military commander. His name was Pushmitra Shunga. Pushmitra Shunga was a Brahmin. So actually, my friends, Pushmitra Shunga, basically, he just rose against his master and killed him, and then he usurped the throne. So he laid the foundation of the so-called Shunga dynasty in 185 BC. He was a Brahmin, so some critics who were working on the decline of Mauryan Empire, so even such critics even tried to prove that basically it was a Brahmanic rebellion against the Ashoka's pacific policy, or you can say the Ashoka's anti-Brahmanic policy. Some critics, like you can say Nihar Ranjan Ray, Har Prasad Shastri, so they tried to prove that. पर उन्होंने ये सिद्ध करने की कोशिश की कि देखो ये ब्राह्मणों का विद्रोह था, अशोका की जो पॉलिसी थी वो ब्राह्मण विरोधी थी. बट नाउ दिस व्यू हैज बीन ड्यूली रिजेक्टेड, एंड इट इज ऑन द बेसिस दैट कि अशोका नेवर फॉलोड एंटी ब्राह्मणिक पॉलिसी. ही यूज्ड टू एक्सटेंड हिज डोनेशंस to Brahmanas and Sarmanas both. Sarmanas means, you can say, Buddhist monks and Jaina monks, and Brahmanas means Brahmanas. So we cannot bring a charge against Ashoka कि Ashoka followed any sort of discriminatory policy against Brahmanas. मतलब हम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि अशोका ने ब्राह्मणों के अगेंस्ट में कोई भी इस तरह की विरोधी पॉलिसी को फॉलो किया है. So in this way you can say that is the case. Now then comes one term that is called Shunga dynasty. And Shunga, so Brihadratha, after Brihadratha you can say, you will come to know that is his Pushmitra Shunga took the charge. So Pushmitra Shunga, the 10th successor of Pushmitra Shunga ruled. मतलब पुष्मित शुंगा का 10 उत्तराधिकारी ने शासन किया. His immediate successor, the immediate successor of Pushmitra Shunga was Agnimitra. Agnimitra. What is the temperature? Please increase one more. So the successor of Pushmitra Shunga was Agnimitra. And about Agnimitra you will come to know, he was basically, he is famous for the fact that Kalidas, who was an author during Gupta period, but Kalidas at least composed one play in honor of Agnimitra, and the name of this play was Malvikagnimitram. Meaning it was this play deals with the love story of Agnimitra with his beloved, and her name was Malvika. So it was a love story of Agnimitra and Malvika. Although Kalidas belonged to Gupta period, but he dealt with one of his plays deals with the period of Agnimitra. The son and successor of Agnimitra was Vashumitra. So according to one tradition, whenever there were the invasions from northwest by Yavanas, actually at that time the foreigners were either characterized as Yavanas or Malekshas. So there were invasions from Yavanas. So it was the grandson of Pushmit Shunga and the son of Agnimitra who countered the invasion, and this grandson was, or the son of Agnimitra was Vashumitra, and he could defeat the Yavanas. So it is believed that in fact Pushmitra performed 2 Asmedha sacrifice. In one of his Asmedha sacrifice he performed, so it was Patanjali, the famous author and even a grammarian, you might have heard the name. So he was a Brahmin and he himself performed the rituals in this sacrifice, or you can say he helped Pushmit Shunga to perform the sacrifice. So this is the case. One of the rulers of this dynasty his name was, you can say, Bhagbhadra. So the period of Bhagbhadra is famous for one thing. जैसे भागभद्रा का जो टाइम पीरियड है वो एक चीज के लिए जाना जाता है. जैसे देखो, अब एक मैंने अग्निमित्रा नाम बताया, वो क्लियर हो गया, उसके नाम पर एक प्ले लिखा गया. दूसरा नाम मैंने वसुमित्रा बताया, तो वसुमित्रा के बारे में कहा जाता है कि उसने ग्रीक इन्वेजन्स को डिफीट किया, सो दैट इज नोन एज वसुमित्रा. फिर आफ्टर वसुमित्रा देन यू विल कम टू नो अबाउट अनदर, यू कैन से, you know, the king, and that is Bhagbhadra. तो भागभद्रा के बारे में है कि actually in the court of Bhagbhadra there was a Greek governor who came in the court of Bhagbhadra. His name was what? Heliodorus. He was a very famous man. Famous man he was, and his name you should remember, because in prelims they can ask you the question. The name is Heliodorus. So what is the specialty of Heliodorus? You know, कि basically he erected a Garuda pillar in commemoration of Vasudev Krishna. मतलब इसके बारे में कहा जाता है कि ये कैसे हेलियोडोरस ने जो विदिशा एक जगह है, वहां पर एक वासुदेव कृष्ण के सम्मान में एक गरुड़ पिलर को उसने एस्टेब्लिश किया था. एंड द लास्ट थिंग फ्रॉम दिस डायनेस्टी वाज देवभूति. So Devbhuti was assassinated by his own Brahmin minister. His name was Vasudeva. Vasudeva was his name, and he was the Brahmin minister. So he assassinated Devbhuti and founded his own dynasty. The name of this dynasty was Kanva dynasty. In Kanva dynasty there were simply four kings. Vasudeva, Bhumimitra, Narayana and Susarmana. Then finally this dynasty was uprooted by Satavahanas from South India. They were known as from Andhra region. So I will discuss with you about Satavahanas later. So these are the two successor states, and simply keep the information I have given to you in your mind. That will suffice to fulfill the questions. Then next one you find. That was the successor states, and the second category is states created by invasions. So you will go through the states created by invasions. So in one state you will come to know that is Indo-Greeks. The capital of Sunga dynasty was Vidisha and Patliputra. Sungas maintained two capitals. One capital was Vidisha. Another name for Vidisha was Vesnagar. You will come to know that another name for Vidisha was Vesnagar in central India near Sanchi. Vidisha. Even on the map here that is plotted, you will observe. And second one Patliputra. So he maintained two capital. Okay, Mr. Ankur, any problem?
No, sir.
Indo-Greeks. So here you will observe the map, you will come to know. In fact, you will observe the situation in Central Asia. And whenever you will observe the situation in Central Asia, you will come to realize that from Central Asia, or a number of tribes. For example, in Central Asia, you will find Hindu Kush range. Then above Hindu Kush range, you will find Oxus River. And in the north of Oxus River, there was a region that was known as Oxus River. So, that is Hindu Kush range. Then the Oxus River, in the north of Oxus River, you will find there the region that is known as Bactria. So a branch of Indo-Greeks was established at Bactria in Central Asia. मतलब कि बैक्ट्रिया नामक रीजन में एक ब्रांच ऑफ इंडो-ग्रीक्स was established and this Indo-Greek ruler was known as Demetrius. And this Indo-Greek rule was, there was the dynasty of Demetrius. The first dynasty of Indo-Greeks which ruled in Bactria, that was known as dynasty of Demetrius. So this Demetrius was the important king.
So Dheeraj Karan, in PDF Herodotus is written.
Herodotus? No. Demetrius and Eucratides, you find. This is the point. Demetrius and now you will come to know that in fact Demetrius, that was the name of the dynasty. So Demetrius invaded India and captured a part of northwest region, and he established his capital at a place that is called Shakla. Shakla is a place. So Demetrius, dynasty of Demetrius, established his capital at Shakla. So you will just come to know about, this is the name of the place where he established his capital. This Shakla has been identified with मॉडर्न सियालकोट. मतलब उसने अपनी राजधानी डेमेट्रियस ने भारत में हिंदुस्तान में शाकल को बनाई. यस मिस्टर अंकुर.
धीरज करें कि सुंग डायनेस्टी में हेरोडोटस लिखा.
सुंगा डायनेस्टी हेरोडोटस, हेलियोडोरस होगा. हेरोडोटस, अच्छा हेलियोडोरस, हेलियोडोटस, हेलियोडोरस. Actually, he was a Greek governor. He was not king. He was a Greek governor who visited the court of Bhagbhadra. For that, I have told you, he erected a Garuda pillar there. So this Indo-Greeks, you will just come to know that Demetrius and the Shakla is capital. But whenever the dynasty of Demetrius was just established in India, in the meantime a revolt started against his dynasty at Bactria, and there was the rise of a new dynasty that was called Eucratides, which has been mentioned in your material. Eucratides मतलब Demetrius अभी established हुआ, तब तक Bactria में एक Eucratides dynasty भी established हो गया और उसने डेमेट्रियस के डायनेस्टी को वहां से अपरूट कर दिया. देन इवन यूक्रेटाइड्स प्रेफर टू इन्वेड इंडिया just after some time in nearly 175 BC or etc. And even he captured some region in northwest and he made his capital at Takshila. He made his capital at Takshila, you can say. So he made his capital at Takshila, but while Demetrius Shakla made his capital at Shakla. So now two dynasties, the dynasty of Demetrius and dynasty of Eucratides, the two dynasties continued to rule simultaneously in India, and according to their coins, because here I have to inform you, in fact Indo-Greek kings were the first dynasty in India which issued its coins in the name of the kings. Earlier you can say that even during Maurya period and earlier than that in Mahajanpada period, the kings did not issue the coins. In fact, the coins were being issued by the, you can say, craft guild or merchant guilds or merchant corporation. Crafts or corporations were issuing the coins. The kings themselves were not issuing the coins. So first dynasty which issued the coins was the Indo-Greek dynasty, And according to their coins, we come to know that nearly 30 Indo-Greek kings ruled in India. One famous king was Menander. You might have heard the name. मतलब कि 30 इंडो ग्रीक रूलर्स ने इंडिया में शासन किया, उसमें मिनांडर एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट किंग था. According to a Buddhist text, Milind Panho, you might have heard the name of Milind Panho. This is the name of the text, Milind Panho. कि Menander, in fact, had a conversation with a Buddhist, you can say, saint. His name was Nagshena. And after this conversation, he was converted to Buddhism, Menander. Who was Nagshena, that is slightly disputed. According to most of the scholars, कि possibly he was Nagarjuna. But there is the long time gap between Nagarjuna and Nagshena, so it is very difficult to establish the relationship between the two. मतलब दोनों के बीच रिलेशनशिप को एस्टेब्लिश करना मुश्किल है क्योंकि दोनों के बीच टाइम लैग है, लेकिन फिर भी नागसेना के साथ नागार्जुना का आइडेंटिफिकेशन होता है. So in this way you are just going to establish this thing. Then next one you come to know that is Indo-Greeks. After Indo-Greeks, then Shakaj. Shakaj were just following behind Indo-Greeks in Central Asia. So Shakaj replaced Indo-Greeks from Bactria. Shakaj captured Bactria, and then Shakaj even invaded. The second one here you can say dynasty was pointed to Shaka dynasty. Shaka dynasty, and the Shakas invaded India, and the 5 branches of Shakas ruled simultaneously. The 5 branches of Shakas ruled simultaneously. One branch of Shaka was established in Afghanistan. मतलब एक उसका ब्रांच था अफगानिस्तान में स्थापित हुआ था. सेकेंड वन इन पंजाब विथ तक्षशिला इट्स कैपिटल. थर्ड वन एट मथुरा. थर्ड एट यू कैन से एट मथुरा, the third dynasty. The fourth dynasty in you can say western part of India, and the fifth one on at Deccan. मतलब पहला डायनेस्टी अफगानिस्तान में स्टेब्लिश हुआ, दूसरा पंजाब में, तीसरा मथुरा में, चौथा वेस्टर्न इंडिया में, पश्चिमी भारत में, और पांचवा डेक्कन में. So in western branch of Shakaj it was very important, and it was the Western dynasty of Shakas, or you can say the dynasty which ruled in Gujarat. So this was very important, and this dynasty continued till the 4th century. And finally, this Shaka dynasty of Gujarat had to be uprooted by Guptas. Later I will discuss with you. And one dynasty and Deccan that was established. In Western Shaka, you might have heard about a name, that is Rudra Daman. Rudra Daman is the very important king you might have noticed in my study material. He ruled in 2nd century CE, means ki starting from 130 CE to 150 CE, something like this. So Rudra Daman, he is known in history for 2 things. For the first thing, ki he just, you can say, he issued Junagadh inscription. He issued Junagadh inscription, उसने Junagadh inscription खुदवाया. And for your information, कि Junagadh inscription was the first largest Sanskrit inscription. Earlier than that, you will find the Ashokan inscriptions, and Ashokan inscriptions were basically just inscribed in Prakrit. It was not in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit, first Sanskrit inscription was issued by Rudradaman, and second one, Rudradaman repaired Sudarshan Lake. Sudarshana Lake, that was, you can say, operative in Gujarat, and that was used for irrigation work. So सुदर्शना लेक को स्टेब्लिश करने का, रिपेयरिंग करने का श्रेय रुद्रदमन को है. तो आपको यू मे बी अ बिट क्यूरियस कि व्हेन वाज सुदर्शना लेक बिल्ट. सुदर्शना लेक वाज बिल्ट एट द टाइम ऑफ Chandragupta Maurya, and his governor was in Gujarat. His governor was, his name was Pushgupta. So it was Pushgupta who established, and you can say who just, you can say, dug out this Sudarshan Lake, or who built the Sudarshan Lake. So, but it was repaired by Rudradaman. So this was about Sakaj. Then you come to know about the next one, you can say Parthians. Now you may be a bit curious who were the Parthians, because about Parthians we are not much clear. Some scholars believe that it was associated with Shakas, and some scholars are just trying to prove that no, Parthians came from Parthia, and Parthia has been identified with Iran from West Asia, not from Central Asia. So it is a disputed question, but now it is widely believed that not even Parthians might have come from Central Asia, not from West Asia. तो अब ये माना जाता है कि नहीं, Parthians भी पश्चिम एशिया से नहीं बल्कि सेंट्रल एशिया से आए थे और शका से जुड़े हुए थे. तो पार्थियंस में आपको एक ही किंग का नाम याद रखना है, एंड दैट इज गोंडोफर्निस. अब गोंडोफर्निस की फीचर्स ये है कि इट वाज एट द टाइम ऑफ गोंडोफर्निस, यू नो, कि अ फेमस क्रिश्चियन सेंट इन फर्स्ट सेंचुरी ही विजिटेड इंडिया, एंड हियर यू फाइंड कि इन फैक्ट his tomb is visible in India near Madras. This famous Saint Thomas, who visited India at that time. So this is the feature. And the last one, you can say Kushanas. Now you can say Kushanas belong to the so-called Yuchi tribe. That is called Yuchi tribe. And Kushanas were active in Central Asia, just in the west of Chinese Wall. Because China later, you can say, built the famous wall. So due to the Chinese Wall, now the, tribals and the different tribal invaders, they could not push towards China. So they preferred to make a westward expansion now. And they were just coming towards India. So Yuchi tribe was organized by first Kujla catfishers and Vima catfishers. So Kujla catfishers and Vima catfishers, they were predecessors of Kanishka. And both the rulers, Kujla catfishers and Vima catfishers, they were supposed to rule between Kujla catfishers and Bhima catfishers were supposed to rule between 50 C to 78 C. And then Kanishka is supposed to have taken the oath in 78 C. Although it is a slightly disputed when did he get the throne and his coronation was performed, whether in 1780 or something else. But the so-called Shaka era is supposed to have started from 78 C. जो शका एरा है वो शका एरा 78 C से स्टार्ट हुआ है. And this Shaka era is identified with the coronation of Kanishka. You may ask a question from me. Actually, you have told that is called Shaka era. But Kanishka is a Kushana, so why is characterized as Shaka era? So at that time, almost all the foreigners were called Shakas. मतलब उस समय जो foreigners विदेशी थे उनको शका बोलते थे, तो शका एरा उनको कहोगे तो यानी कुशाना कहो या शका, बात उस समय लगभग एक जैसी थी. So this is the question. Up now, Kanishka is also known for two things. First of all, with his coronation, there started the show called with his coronation, there started a new era, that is Shaka era. And the second one, he is given the credit to have extend his full-hearted support to Mahayana Buddhism. मतलब उसने महायान बुद्धिज्म को पैट्रोनाइज किया. You might have heard about Buddhist Council, and the fourth Buddhist Council is supposed to have taken place at the time of Kanishka in Kashmir, Kundalwan. तो मतलब इसको कहीं ना कहीं बुद्धिज्म को महायाना बुद्धिज्म, और व्हाट इज हीनयाना बुद्धिज्म एंड महायाना बुद्धिज्म, आई विल डील विथ दिस टॉपिक in the topic of culture or religion, what is Mahayana and Hinayana. So that is the point. So it is all about Kushana. So this is the second category of states, Then second category, so now you have to find out third category. The third category of a state is what? So that is states, or you can say newly emerged states. Newly emerged states. Newly emerged states means actually a state formation has taken place in peninsular India and in Odisha, In peninsular India, in remote south and in Odisha, That is very natural. Because when surplus production started, so surplus production led towards the class differentiation, the division of labor, the establishment of taxation system, the establishment of monarchy, the foundation of army and bureaucracy. So it led to the state formation. मतलब कि जब अतिरिक्त उत्पादन होता है तो अतिरिक्त उत्पादन हमेशा राज्य निर्माण को प्रोत्साहन देता है. इस टाइम में नए नए राज्य भी अस्तित्व में आए. न्यू स्टेट्स केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस. हियर यू विल फाइंड द फर्स्ट नेम, दैट इज कॉल्ड शातवाहना स्टेट. Then the second one you can see Sangam states. In Sangam states you will find three states, that is Cheraj, Cholaj and Pandya state. And then in third one Kharvela state in Kalinga. So these were the new state formation. Here you can observe the state formation. Up here you can observe the state, that is one Satvahana state. So Satvahana state was firstly founded in Maharashtra region. It is from Maharashtra, you can see it moved towards Andhra and then towards Karnataka. So this was the Satvahana state. Then in remote south, there was the formation of the state like this is Chera state, this is Pandya state, and this is Chola state. Chera, Chola, and Pandya. Why were the states characterized as Sangam states? So I have to make you clear. So these were the states. And then you come to know as Kalinga. So you will come to know Kalinga, that is you can say Kharvel. He was from Chedi dynasty. I have to make you clear. Let me start with Satvahana because it is a very important state, because now it is believed that Kushanas, Kanishkas established a vast empire. Here I have to inform you. Kanishka expanded in the vast region. जो कनिष्क है उसका एक बड़ा empire था. It expanded from Central Asia, in Khorasan in Central Asia, then part of Iran, the total Afghanistan, total Pakistan and northern India up to Banaras. So that was under the control of Kanishka empire. It was having two capitals. The one capital of Kanishka was at Purushpur. Purushpur means Peshawar. That is called Purushpur. And the second capital of Kanishka was at Mathura in India. Even Purushpur was in India at that time. You can say Mathura in northern India. And he created a bigger empire. Actually, it was the time in economy, I will make you clear, this is China. And in the west, there was Roman Empire. So a silk trade started between China and Roman Empire. So that was called the Silk Route. You might have heard about the famous Silk Route. आपने फेमस सिल्क रूट के बारे में सुन रखा होगा, जिसने सीधे चाइना को सेंट्रल एशिया से लिंक करता है. तो जब ये सिल्क रूट जा रहा था तो पार्ट ऑफ एक सिल्क रूट वॉज अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ कनिष्का एज वेल. सो दैट्स व्हाई यू नो कि इंडिया वाज बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम द ट्रेड. मतलब जो रेशम मार्ग है वह चीन से रोमन एम्पायर को जा रहा था और वह इंडिया, उसके एक पार्ट पर इंडिया यानी कनिष्का का भी कंट्रोल था. तो इस कारण से हमें इस ट्रेड का फायदा था. तो देखो, अब मल्टी स्टेट सिस्टम वॉज द features of the time, but among the multi-state system you will come to realize that at least two states just reached up to the status of empire. One was the Kanishkaj state, took the form of a big empire. A state was smaller in size, but empire was gigantic and the vast in size. It was multicultural because it expanded to vast region and it dealt with the people from various cultural origin, you know. So obviously you can say empire was going to be multilingual, multicultural and multiracial in character. इसलिए जो कनिष्का एम्पायर है वो एक एम्पायर का स्टेटस है और दूसरा सातवाहना का एम्पायर का स्टेटस है. सो हियर यू फाइंड कि दैट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र. इन महाराष्ट्र यू कैन से इट एक्सपेंडेड फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र and it expanded from Maharashtra to Andhra and Karnataka. So it was the vast area, you come to know. Vast area. Starting from Maharashtra and reaching up to Karnataka and Andhra. So my students, up here I have to inform you, in fact, this was the expansion of empire. अब who was the founder of the so-called Satvahana dynasty? That was called Simuka. Simuka is given the credit as the founder of Simuka as the Satvahana empire. But most important king was Gautiputra Shatkarni, who ruled in 2nd century CE between 106 to 130 CE, and he is given the credit to have defeated a Shaka king. His name was Nahpana. मतलब जो गौतमीपुत्र शतकर्णी है सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट किंग है एट दैट टाइम. यू कैन से अब गौतमीपुत्र वशिष्ठ पुत्र पुलुमयी, ही वाज सक्सेसर. सो सरप्राइजिंगली विल बी कि भाई ये सब क्यों ऐसे नाम है. तो दे वर नेम्ड आफ्टर देयर मदर, ऑल्दो देयर सिस्टम वाज नॉट मैट्रियार्कल, सोसाइटी वाज पैट्रियार्कल, बट पॉसिबली दे वर गिविंग मच रेफरेंस टू मदर, सो देयर नेम वाज नोन एज द नेम ऑफ द मदर्स, यू नो. अब after 3rd century CE, this Satvahana dynasty, the Satvahana empire disintegrated. So later you will come to know in Maharashtra region, after the disintegration of Satvahana empire, there was the formation of Vaktaka dynasty, which I will just discuss in the next chapter. And in this Andhra and northern Tamil Nadu region in Satvahana state, you will know. So there was the foundation of a state that was called Ikshvaku state. So Ikshvaku and Vaktaka. So these two states, you know. Then you can say in Chera, Chola and Pandya kings. So these states came during early Christian centuries, you can say. मतलब चेरा, पांड्या एंड चोला जो डायनेस्टीज है वो ईसा की आरंभिक शताब्दियों में आई. Why we prefer to call them the Sangam states? Because my students, whenever I will teach you the cultural part, I will inform you कि actually in remote south कि at least 3 confluences or the 3 assembly of poets are supposed to have taken place, and in this assembly a number of Tamil texts were compiled. So as the confluence, it was just like the assembly of poets. So in Tamil tradition, this assembly of poets was characterized as Sangam, the confluence of the poets. तो चूंकि असेंबली ऑफ पोएट्स को हम लोग संगम बोलते हैं, इसलिए दिस पीरियड इज नोन एज द संगम एज, यू नो. सो दिस 3 states, चेरा, चोला, पांड्या, they belong to the post Maurya period. Then finally you can say in Kalinga, actually there is the one dynasty that is known as Chedi dynasty. But my students, quite surprisingly, from this dynasty we come to know about a single one king, that was Kharvela. And Kharvela is sometime going to be too much articulate about his military success and victory, and even about his donations. अब surprisingly you can say कि about Kharvela we are having the single one source to know, and that is Hathi Gumpha inscription. हाथी, गुम्फा inscription. That is a single one source. We are not having any other source to mention. And from this inscription, we come to know about a victory of 24 long years of Kharvela. Kharvela is definitely making a hyperbolic statement, or he overstated his success, but we are not having any other source to counter check his view. मतलब खारवेल अपनी एक कहावत है, आप मियां मुंह मिट्ठू होना, वही उन्होंने किया है। उसने खारवेल ने अपने 24 इयर्स के विक्ट्री की पूरी चर्चा की है, लेकिन हमारे पास कोई दूसरा सोर्स नहीं है जानने का। खैर, नाउ कम टू द पॉइंट। इन मल्टी स्टेट सिस्टम, हाउ मेनी कैटेगरी ऑफ स्टेट्स? 3 कैटेगरी ऑफ स्टेट्स। सक्सेसर स्टेट्स 2, recall Shunga and Kanva. Then states created by invasions, Indo-Greeks, Shakas, Parthians and Kushanas. Then the newly emerged states, that is Satavahana state, then Chera, Cholas, Pandya states, and then finally the state of Kharvela. So these are the multi-state system. Okay, Mr. Ankur, should I move further? Yes. Now you have to move to Gupta's dynasty.
Sir,
Yes.
Sales Puchil, father of Jarasandh and last emperor of the Mauryan Empire, was the same or different?
No. Both are different. Actually, who has asked this question? Shailesh. First of all, be clear. Don't try to mix mythology with history. About Brihadrath, or the successor of Ashoka, you are having a scientific evidence. So that is history. But a story of Jarasandh, Lord Krishna, or any other story like Panch Pandava, so they are mythology. We cannot prove it, their historicity, because they are the mythological characters. So my students, एक मुझे लगता है कहीं आप लोग इस कंफ्यूजन के शिकार ना हो, चुके मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं। माइथोलॉजी अलग होती है, पता है ना आप लोगों को, और हिस्ट्री अलग होता है। Don't try to mix history with mythology. What is the difference between mythology and history? You cannot verify the truthfulness and the veracity. You cannot verify the authenticity of a mythology. But if the veracity cannot be identified, or if the veracity cannot be tested, it means it is not history. The basic feature of history is that veracity should be tested. So Brihadrata is having a historical character. He was the great grandson of Ashoka. And from various sources, from, you can say, Purana, we are having the information from Kalidas, the composition of Kalidas, that is, his name is, even the Vanvata has written about this so-called Brihadrata. So he's having the historicity, we cannot deny him. But Jarasandh is not a historical character. So please never commit such a mistake of mixing history with mythology or mixing mythology with history.
Okay, sir.
Now we are coming to Gupta dynasty. What happened? Actually, the story starts in the manner that after decline of Kushana Empire, the northern India was captured to some extent. Northern India was captured by some Murundas. Then there was the rise of Guptas in North India. My students, 1 and 2 things are visible. The first thing is you find the term like Upper Gangetic Basin. Upper Gangetic Basin is starting from Haridwar or Rishikesh and coming up to Allahabad. That is Upper Gangetic Basin. And then the middle Ganga Valley starts from Allahabad to Bhagalpur in Bihar, That is called Champa. So you will observe the region, you will find that normally the process of empire building started from the middle Gangetic Basin. So middle Ganga Valley. Previously, either Magdha Empire or Maurya Empire. So this state formation, empire building started from there. But in case of Gupta, you will find that the empire building started from upper Gangetic basin. And here you can say initiative was taken from Prayag, that is called Allahabad. So initiative was taken from this Prayag or upper Gangetic basin, you will come to know. And then the Guptas established in the region first, and then Guptas moved to the middle Gangetic basin, the middle Ganga valley. मतलब कि इससे पहले जो भी डायनेस्टी था वो मध्य गंगा घाटी से स्टार्ट करके फिर वो अपर गंगेटिक बेसिन में आते थे, लेकिन इसमें गुप्ताज ने अपर गंगेटिक बेसिन प्रयाग, जिसको प्रयागराज आज बोलते हो इलाहाबाद, वहीं से शुरू किया और फिर वो मिडल गंगेटिक बेसिन में आए, मिडल गंगा वैली में आए. सो एक्चुअली according to the tradition, or you can say according to the Prayag Prasasti or the Prayag eulogy of, or the Allahabad description of, or Prayag eulogy of Samudragupta. Actually, the earliest king of this dynasty was, there were the two kings. One name is the Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha Gupta. Ghatotkacha Gupta means ki about the earlier kings we hear two names, Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha Gupta, but historicity of this Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha Gupta is not clear. Not clear means ki they were not the larger kings, they were possibly not independent kings, they might have worked as फ्यूडेटीज ऑफ कुशानास, मतलब संभव है कि कुशानों वगैरह के वो अधीनस्थ शासक रहे होंगे या उनके अधिकारी रहे होंगे. बिकॉज दिस श्री गुप्ता एंड घटोत्कच गुप्ता डिडंट इशू एनी क्वाइंस इन देयर नेम एंड दे डिडंट टेक एनी सॉवरेन टाइटल. सो द फर्स्ट सॉवरेन किंग फ्रॉम दिस डायनेस्टी चंद्रगुप्ता द फर्स्ट. Chandragupta the first is the first sovereign king who ruled between 319 to 335 CE. And here you can say कि Chandragupta the first ये पहला स्वतंत्र शासक इस डायनेस्टी का माना जा सकता है, because he took the title like Maharaja Dhiraja and issued the first gold coins in his name. This Chandragupta first. And what you know as the Gupta era. So Gupta era is supposed to have started from the time of Chandragupta the first. From the time of Chandragupta the first, the so-called Gupta era is supposed to have started, you know. The Gupta era is supposed to have started. So this is called Chandragupta the first, you know. अब here my point is कि even during the earlier phase, what you know as the post Maurya period, here we come to know कि the one era is the Shaka era. So there I have to inform one thing. I have missed to inform you one more thing. कि Shaka era is supposed to have started from 78 CE. You might have realized there. But there was one other era as well. That is called Vikrama era. Vikrama Shambat जिसको बोलते हो. तो Shaka era and Vikrama era. Not during this period. My students, you should not get confused. But rather you can see in post-Maurya period, Vikrama era. अब here question is कि Shaka era is supposed to have started from 78 BC. Okay? Vikrama era, actually who started Vikrama era? Shaka era, that is Kushana, credit is given to Kanishka. For Vikrama era, it is supposed that कि possibly an Indian king whose name and whose historicity is not much clear. So he defeated a Shaka king, and then in commemoration of his victory, he introduced the so-called Vikrama era. Because after this victory, he took the title of Vikramaditya. In Indian tradition, so far as 14 Vikramaditya. In Indian tradition, there are 14 Vikramaditya. So he belongs to one category of Vikramaditya. So he took the title of Vikramaditya, and then he introduced Vikram era. So Vikrama era is supposed to have started from 58 BC. Sorry, 58 BC. But this era started from 57 BC itself. ऑल्दो यू कैन से, अब इसको मैं ऐसे समझा दूं कि ये तो शुरू हुआ 58 BC में, लेकिन काउंटिंग 57 से ही शुरू किया. So now the calculation of era started from 57 BC. So once in UPPCS there was the question कि what is the difference, the time difference between Vikrama era and Shaka era. So you will just calculate them, you will come to realize कि although this Vikrama era started in 58 BC, but counting started from 57 BC, so 57 BC or 78 BC, so there is the time difference of 135 BC, 135 years between the two, the Vikrama era and Shaka era. Now Chandragupta Maurya is have given the credit to have started the so-called Gupta era in 319 BC. So okay, this point is clear. Ab successor of Chandragupta Maurya was who? It was Samudragupta.
Shaka era 78 C. BC.
Oh, sorry. Shaka era 78 C है, not BC. C. And Vikrama era 58 BC, but counting started from 57 C, so there is a time gap of 135 years. अब Samudragupta 335 to 380 C, you know. A long rule, you know. And he was a great conqueror. He could conquer the different parts of India in 5 stages. In the first stage, he could uproot the 8 Indian states, including Naga dynasty, including Murunda dynasty, including Naga dynasty, and you can say different kings, like the different dynasties. Nearly 8 states he uprooted in Gangetic Basin. मतलब गंगा यमुना द्वार में उसने 8 राज्यों को जीता. Then in second stage, he could carry, you can say he could defeat the some 12 non-monarchical states of northwest. मतलब कि नॉर्थ वेस्ट के जो 12 नॉन मोनार्कियल, जिसको कहते हो सो कॉल गणतंत्र या रिपब्लिक, उसको डिफीट किया. एंड देन सम bordering states like Assam, Nepal, etc. In third stage, he is given the credit to have defeated the Atvika states of Central Asia. That is called Atvika. Atvika का मतलब forest states, कि they were not the developed state, possibly they were the tribal states. So he could defeat Atvika states of Central Asia in third stage. In fourth stage, while following this route in South India, just observe here, while following this route from the side of Odisha, he could invade South India up to Deccan, and then he could defeat the 12 states of Deccan, including the Pallava state, you know. So Pallava states he could defeat. In fifth stage, he carried an invasion northwest and defeated some foreign states like Shakas and Murundas. And Devputra Shahanushahi. Devputra Shahanushahi was the title given to Kushanas. तो चौथे स्टेज में उसने यहाँ पर 12 डक्कन स्टेट्स को डिफीट किया, और फिफ्थ स्टेज में उसने कुछ फॉरेन स्टेट्स को नॉर्थ वेस्ट में डिफीट किया. एंड आफ्टर दैट ही टुक द टाइटल ऑन हिज कॉइन अश्वमेध पराक्रमा. एंड बेसिकली वी कैन कम to know about his victory, great victory, by his court poet Harishen, who has composed the famous Prayag eulogy. Eulogy means his prashansa. That was an inscription, Allahabad inscription, it was known earlier. So it was you can say that was the great victor. And Smith is a British scholar, so he compared him with Napoleon. He told him, he characterized him the Napoleon of India. Although it was not a praise for him, it was a Eurocentric view, because Napoleon came much later after Samudragupta. So better Napoleon should have been characterized as Samudragupta of Europe. But no, it was Samudragupta who was Napoleon of India. So in this way, you know.
So Gupta period AD होगा। Gupta period AD।
सी है ना, सी मतलब कॉमन एरा। मैंने क्या बताया कि एडी पहले कहा जाता था, अब उसको सी बोलते हैं, सी। सो 300 to 600 सी। एंड वो पुराना लिखा हुआ है ना, टाइप, वो पुराना वर्ड आ गया है इसमें, नहीं तो 300 सी होगा। So that is the point here. तो 57, हाँ भी अब ये now this is after that the successor of Samudragupta was who? That is Chandragupta the second or Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Both are the same. Chandragupta the second, and he was characterized as Vikramaditya as well. So about his time period slightly difference, either 380 to 412 or 415. So they are the two dates normally, either 412 or 415. You can take any date. So actually about date you should not be much clear. Simply you have to be clear about chronological order, ki which king came after whom. That's all, nothing else. About dates you have not to be conscious at all. Of Chandragupta the second, actually he was a lot of feathers in his victory cap, a lot of feathers. One feather is what? Actually here we will come to know कि he continued, about him it is told he basically identified and he is given the credit to have assimilated the policy of martial alliance of his grandfather with his policy of conquest of his father. जैसे चंद्रगुप्ता द फर्स्ट था, उसका मार्शल अलायंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट माना जाता था, बिकॉज अबाउट चंद्रगुप्ता द फर्स्ट विल कम, यू माइट हैव हर्ड अबाउट कि ही जस्ट मैरिड टू अ लिक्ष्मी प्रिंसेस कुमार देवी, and he was he has been giving too much credit and too much weightage to this marital relations and to this you can say relations, this marriage relations, because at that time Likshmi estate might have been a powerful estate in North India, and association with Likshmi estate might have helped Guptas a lot. So that's why this Chandragupta the first preferred to give too much weightage to the relationship. तो एक लिक्ष्मी जो स्टेट से चंद्रगुप्ता द फर्स्ट का जो लिक्ष्मी प्रिंसेस कुमार देवी के साथ मैरिज हुआ, तो उससे उसका पावर बहुत बढ़ गया. सो दैट वाई हिस्टोरियंस प्रेफर टू कैरेक्टराइज दिस पॉलिसी द पॉलिसी ऑफ मार्शल अलायंस, मतलब कि एक सैनिक गठबंधन. And Chandragupta II followed the policy of martial alliance of his grandfather with the policy of conquest of his father. Firstly, following the policy of conquest his father, he could carried a military expedition in northwest up to the river up to Bahlik. Bahlik means ki the Indus, to Bang region in Bengal. And even today in Mehrauli in Delhi, that is the first capital city of Delhi, there is an iron pillar, and this iron pillar is being identified with Chandragupta II, Chandragupta the Vikramaditya. So about this iron pillar you will come to know that there is the praise for, in some inscription is engraved on this iron pillar, and in this inscription a lot of praise has been hurled to a king, that is Chandra. So this Chandra king has been identified with Chandragupta II. तो खैर इसने वेस्ट में इंडस तक एंड ईस्ट में बंगाल तक के रीजन को कॉन्कोर किया. इसका जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो अचीवमेंट है वो है कि इसने मार्शल अलायंस भी किया. मतलब ही हिमसेल्फ गॉट मैरिड टू अ कुबेरा, यू कैन से अ प्रिंसेस टू कुबेरा डायनेस्टी, Kuber Naga, that is from Naga dynasty, which was a powerful dynasty, and this marriage might have helped him to attain the more military strength. And the second one, he got his daughter Prabhavati Gupta married to the Vaktaka king. They were the Vaktaka dynasty. Actually, after the decline of Satavahana dynasty in Maharashtra, there was the rise of Vaktaka dynasty. and one king from this Vaktaka dynasty was the Rudrasen. So Chandragupta II preferred to get his daughter Prabhavati married to Rudrasen. So it helped Guptas a lot, because when Chandragupta II had to carry a military expedition against the Saka ruler of Gujarat, so he could carry and he could lead his army while crossing this Vaktaka region, which was not otherwise possible. अब कोई भी सॉवरेन किंग आप ही बताओ अपने क्षेत्र से जाने का रास्ता तो नहीं दे सकता, लेकिन चूंकि उसकी बेटी ही वहां इन्फ्लुएंशियल थी, इसलिए चंद्रगुप्ता द सेकेंड है विक्रमादित्य, वो अपनी आर्मी को इसी वाटका रीजन से ले जाते हुए एंड देन ही इन्वेडेड गुजरात, बिकॉज इट वाज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग फ्रॉम स्ट्रेटेजिक पोजीशन ही कुड इन्वेड ऑन गुजरात एंड फाइनली ही कुड डिफीट this last Saka king of this dynasty, and that was Rudra Singh III, and Chandragupta II captured Gujarat. So the Guptan control over Gujarat might have benefited economically a lot to Gupta kings, because now Guptas could came to even own the important ports of Gujarat, and that boosted off the trade at that time. तो मतलब इस गुजरात का जो विक्ट्री है वो गुप्ता के लिए इकोनॉमिकली काफी बेनिफिशियल रहा, उससे उनको काफी बेनिफिट मिला और उनका ट्रेड वगैरह का एक्सपेंशन हुआ है. तो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट चंद्रगुप्ता द सेकेंड. देन आफ्टर चंद्रगुप्ता द सेकेंड, देन यू विल कम टू नो अबाउट द अनदर किंग दैट इज नोन एज कुमार गुप्ता द फर्स्ट. About the dates, I have just myself has suggested you not to be too much conscious, but just you can say casually I can give you the date ki starting from 415 or 412 to 457, or that is the time period Kumar Gupta the first. At the time of Kumar Gupta the first, you will not hear about any specific war. But Kumar Gupta the first, from Pillin's point of view, you can keep one thing in your mind, that this king should be given the credit to have founded the so-called Nalanda University. When there is a question of the foundation of Nalanda University, so Kumar Gupta the first, and the successor of Kumar Gupta the first was Askand Gupta. 454 to 467, and here you can see Askand Gupta is important, his time period, because he is given the credit to have repulsed the first Huna invasion on India, because Hunas were a Central Asian tribe, and like the Kushanas and Shakas, they also invaded India, and they were the very fierce fighters. But Askand Gupta could repulse the attack, so that is given the credit that the first Huna invasion took place or occurred at the time of Askand Gupta, and Askand Gupta could successfully repulse this Huna attack or Huna invasion. But after that, you can say Gupta dynasty was just subjected to the continuous Huna invasion, and it became one of the factors behind the decline of Gupta Empire. After Askand Gupta, Pur Gupta and Budh Gupta, between 467 to 477, they are the not important kings, so better to ignore their name. And then up to the middle of 6th century BC, you will come to know that finally the Gupta dynasty disintegrated, and after in the middle of 6th century BC, कि nearly in 550 CE, मतलब 550 CE के करीब में Gupta empire disintegrated, and at the graveyard of the empire you will find some regional states or some feudatories who got independence. So you will find about the feudatories, you know, they are the different. Here you can say Mokharis in Kannauj, Mokhri dynasty. Then Pushbhuti in Asthaneshwara, that is in Haryana. Asthaneshwara, you can see that is Pushbhuti. Then Imatrak Vallavi Matraka, and one branch of later Guptas in Malwa, another branch in Bihar Magdha region. Later Guptas. In Bengal, there was some Chandra. So after the disintegration of Gupta Empire, the different states or different feudatory states were established in different regions. So these are the case. So that is about the rise and decline of Gupta Empire. Okay.
So Siva पूछ रहे sir, how Chandragupta takes the title of Vikramaditya?
After defeating Gupta kings, after defeating, you can say, when the Chandragupta the second defeated this Shaka ruler Rudra Singh the third, so automatically after defeating you can say a Shaka ruler, because he was a very influential ruler and the Shaka dynasty was a very important dynasty in North India, so he took the title like Vikramaditya after this victory. And one important thing I have to say to you, actually Chandragupta the second, he was the first, or Chandragupta Vikramaditya was the first Gupta king who issued silver coins. Earlier the Guptas issued simply gold coins, but Chandragupta the second issued silver coins for the first time in commemoration of the victory of Gujarat and defeating of Shaka king. And one of his prime ministers and one of, you can say, his minister was, name was Veer Sen Sabha. So Veer Sen built a temple at Vidisha in Malwa. Vidisha. So it was there, you can say, so not Vidisha, that near Vidisha, Udaygiri in Malwa, Udaygiri. So he built a temple at Udaygiri in Malwa in commemoration of this victory. There he erected an inscription. In this inscription he clearly mentioned he came to this region while conquering Gujarat or conquering the Shaka region along with his master. तो मतलब कि उसका जो वीर सेन है उसने एक उदयगिरी का टेम्पल बनवाया था, ये क्रेडिट दिया जाता है उसमें.
सर जतिन पूछ रहे हैं, eve of multi-state system was an inevitable truth of India's geographical vastness.
What? Once again, Jatin. What is the question? Repeat again.
Eve of multi-state system was an inevitable truth of India's geographical vastness.
Yes, definitely. Jatin, you are right. Even whenever I have taught you the modern part of history, there I have told you history of 18th century. In Indian tradition, Jatin, the multi-state system has become a common feature due to cultural and geographical diversity, Actually, it does not mean that simply vastness was the region, because if simply vastness could have been the region, so for your kind information, China has remained to be the larger in size than Indian Empire, But still you will find that China in history, most part of history you can say, China maintained some sort of administrative centralization. It was due to the two factors. One is the Confucius precepts, and another factor, Jatin, that is, you can say, the Chinese bureaucracy, because China at that time introduced the competitive examination, So Chinese bureaucracy there played the important role. So there are two factors worked. But in case of India, I will come to realize no. In India, the cultural and geographical diversity didn't allow India to create a vast empire for a longer time. So multi-state system became a common feature in India. It is true.
Sir, Vikas पूछ रहे हैं, why Gupta dynasty disintegrated after Hun's war?
A number of factors were working. Actually, even before the Huna invasion, the Gupta Empire started actually Gupta Empire was weakened due to the factor that subversive forces became prominent. The centrifugal forces were active because the different feudatories in different regions. So they started to raise their ugly head against the central government. तो एक तरह से मतलब गुप्ता के अगेंस्ट में सबवर्सिव फोर्सेस तो पहले ही एक्टिव हो गए थे. इन द मीन टाइम हुना इन्वेजन जस्ट worked as a major catalyst behind this disintegration. So it was not the sole factor, but it was the one of the major factors, you can say.
Sam पूछ रहे हैं sir, what does the title Vikramaditya means?
Victory, the king of victory, मतलब प्रतापी किंग कह सकते हो, ग्रेट किंग. विक्रमादित्य is the title of greatness.
Abhinav Kare sir, why was the Gupta period called the golden age of Indian history?
अब देखो अभिनव, यू आर फिर ड्रैगिंग द थिंग्स टू फार. दिस थिंग वुड बी आंसर्ड इन कल्चर, लिटरेचर, एटसेट्रा. दिस इज नॉट अबाउट द पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री.
So Vinay Kare, who were Navaratna in Chandragupta court?
Vinay, you are just wasting your time. Your question is not in right direction. Because this is not my job to mention about the Chandragupta court and Navaratna. Whenever I will deal with the literature and art, you can say, so then I will mention about certain literary persons. So this is not the right place to talk about the culture. Please.
Mehai पूछ रहे हैं, credit for restoration of Sudarshan Lake given to Askand Gupta or Rudradaman?
Both. First Askand Gupta, then second one Rudradaman. And first Rudradaman, then second Askand Gupta. Neha.
Okay.
Ab now you have to move to Harsha, or you can not Harshvardhana Empire, you post Gupta, 600 CE to 750 CE, post Gupta. Of different dynasties I have just told you here. That is, you come to know Asthaneshwara. Asthaneshwara, that is just lying in Haryana. So there was a dynasty that was established, Pushyabhuti. Then you come to know that is in Kannauj, Mokhris. Then Vallavi Matrakas. Then you can see one is later Gupta's one branch. Then later Gupta's at Magad, that is another branch. Then one is Chandra in Bengal. Chandra in Bengal. So you have to observe here, and you have to observe the different states. So once again the multi-state system, after disintegration of Gupta Empire, but even at the time of Gupta Empire, some other states were there. And it was the time, my friends, in South India, you will come to know that this was here after the disintegration, decline of Vaktaka dynasty, there was the rise of Chalukyas, and this in this region you have to find out the rise of firstly Ikshvakus, and after Ikshvakus then there was Pallavas. After Satavahanas, you can say after replacing Ikshvaku, there was the foundation of Pallavas in southern Andhra and northern Tamil Nadu. In Maharashtra, Chalukyas. So this was the dynasty in North India to South India, will come to know. And my friends, here I have to inform you, in political history, simply keep your eyes on what happened. Suppose in South India, up to early medieval age, what was the scenario of South India? I will just leave here. What is the scenario of North India? I will leave here. Then I will just ask you, whenever in early medieval age, I will finish this part. So my students, I have to ask you, what was the political scenario? How did the political scenario change from Vedic period up to early medieval age? मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन यह पूछूंगा लास्ट में अर्ली मेडिवल एज तक आकर कि भाई सिनेरियो कैसी पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो वैदिक पीरियड से अर्ली मेडिवल तक चेंज हुआ. अब मैं स्टूडेंट्स, व्हेनेवर आई विल टीच यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, so we have to observe the changes in administration horizontally from Vedic period to early medieval age. Whenever I will teach you economy, so how the economy was gradually changing from Vedic period to early medieval age. Then you can say then society, how society evolved, Varna, caste, etc., etc. So that part will be clear. So starting from Vedic period up to early medieval age, कैसे वैदिक से अर्ली मिडिवल एज तक पूर्व मध्यकाल तक गया. देन कल्चर, रिलीजियन फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज, लैंग्वेज एंड लिटरेचर फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज, आर्किटेक्चर फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज, स्कल्पचर फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज, पेंटिंग्स फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज, इवन डांस एंड म्यूजिक फ्रॉम वैदिक टू अर्ली मिडिवल एज. सो वी हैव टू मूव इन दिस डायरेक्शन. तो इसलिए बीच में जब तुम कल्चर का क्वेश्चन पूछने लगते हो तो मैं स्टॉप करवा देता हूं कि नो, स्टॉप हियर. इट इज ड्यू टू द फैक्ट दैट कि अभी वो मेरा विचार का विषय नहीं, अभी केवल पॉलिटिकल ही पॉलिटिकल. सो दैट इज द पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो फ्रॉम नॉर्थ इंडिया टू साउथ इंडिया, माय स्टूडेंट्स. बट टुडे द टाइम इज ओवर. बट द नेक्स्ट डे आई विल सेंड यू सम एक्स्ट्रा स्टडी मटेरियल, यू नो, that is administration first, administrative structure, because after political history, administrative structure, because after finishing this part then I have to deal with Pal Pratihara and Rashtkut in Pal Pratihara in North India, then Rajput states in North India, then Rashtkutaz in South India, and then actually it will take up to early medieval age in the next class. And in the meantime, for safety, I will send you the administrative on the some study material on administration as well, so that you will be in advance, you will go through it, because political history लगभग तुम्हारा क्लियर हो चुका होगा. अब छोटी छोटी जो माइक्रो फैक्ट्स होते हैं वो तो वैसे भी तुम्हारे एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में याद नहीं रहेंगे. पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री में इतना आप याद रखो जितना मैंने दिया है, आई विल बी कॉन्फिडेंट. क्योंकि देखो, एक क्वेश्चन पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री से प्रीलिम्स में आपसे पूछेंगे, एक या मुश्किल से 2 क्वेश्चन, आप इसी से उसको फिनिश कर दोगे. सो दैट्स व्हाई यू नो, अब टुडे शुड आई स्टॉप हियर. And I have to, in the next class, I have to tackle the next of the topics. But my students, possibly I have been informed that tomorrow is Raksha Bandhan celebration. So that is the holiday. So tomorrow even I have to take leave of you, leave from you, and I'll see you the day after tomorrow. So for tomorrow and in advance, Raksha Bandhan, happy Raksha Bandhan celebration to you people. I'll see you the day after tomorrow. Thank you very much. Good night. Okay.